How much wood could you chop if you chopped wood? Why don't you ask the wood enthusiasts?
Hello, this is Larry Woodstone, and welcome to our next episode, our new podcast, something we're super excited about, and we're calling this one, The Boys Are Back in Town. Just kind of a throwback to, it's been so long since I've just kind of had the boys in the podcast, so, shout out to Mr. Gary Gilbert.
Hi.
And Mr. Glenn Clutterbuck.
Oh, just really happy to be here, Larry. Good to see you.
Oh, my goodness. Guys, we're so happy to have you.
Why do you always have Glenn on?
Well, Glenn's part of our... yeah, so we're just really excited. Glenn, I don't know if you heard that, but we're calling this kind of The Boys Are Back in Town. We're kind of calling it The Boys Are Back in Town because it's been so long since I've had you, kind of on the air.
Yeah, maybe it's been a while since I've been on the air, a while since we've, kind of hung out in person. So, that'd be good.
Well, we're really excited, but I'm glad we were able to get you on phone because we didn't bring you up here just for the weekend. So we're really excited to have you, just kind of call in and kind of get things rolling here.
I thought we were going to have the Reverend on.
We actually, speak of the devil. When I say Reverend, I shouldn't say speak of the devil, should I, Mr. Clutterbucks? But we had Mr. Reverend Josh Friend on last week, and I know I can speak on behalf of the entire wood enthusiast community that we were all blown away.
Yes.
What do you think, Mr. Clutterbucks?
Well, I mean, honestly, what a voice.
Did you hear that voice?
I mean, I think he could. Yeah, just incredible voice. I was blown away, and I love that his last name is Friend. I think that is.
Isn't that special?
Right there.
Isn't that special?
That's very special. I think it's very special. Yeah.
I know Mr. Gilbert had something very special he kind of wanted to say to Mr. Friend, but he wasn't able to. So I know I speak to Reverend Friend quite often. We're good friends. We're good friends, and I kind of have that. I have that opportunity to speak to him quite often. So, and I know, Gary, you want to say something to him.
Well, Mr. Friend and I are very close.
That's right. He knows you very well.
Yeah.
He's known you for years and years and years and years.
His voice rumbles my tummy.
Yeah, and there's a bit of a relationship that he kind of discussed and he alluded to, and it actually made me feel a little bit uncomfortable. So I didn't want to pursue it. So and I don't think I will now because it's still a little bit uncomfortable. But I did want to talk about tonight's episode. We have something fun and exciting. Sometimes when we get together, we kind of ramble on and 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 on. But we're really excited about tonight, aren't we, Mr. Clutterbuck?
Well, I'm just always excited. I'm just excited to have friends and that you guys would have me on, and I'm excited about tonight. So this is what friends. This is kind of what friends do, right?
Well, we're just kind of getting together. We're just kind of doing a podcast, and we're just really excited because tonight we have something that has gotten it's kind of risen to quite some notoriety.
Are we going to talk about ash?
We're gonna talk about ash trees a little bit later on, because Gary's been dying to talk. He's been dying to talk about ash trees ever since he saw one earlier, and he's been saying that to me all day. And he's been pinging my text saying, "Hey, we got to talk about ash trees." So maybe we'll try to save some room. But tonight is a really special episode because we're gonna do speed rounds of hardwood, softwood.
I like that.
Oh, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Glenn.
You know what that is, Glenn?
Yeah, I don't know if you've been around for this, Glenn.
Not really, but it sounds like fun.
Yeah, it is super fun. So, Glenn, I'm just going to let Gary catch you up because some of our audience, we've been building an incredibly large, prolific, kind of widespread global audience in the last few months here. And some of them may not know exactly what the hardwood softwood is. So I'm going to have Gary go ahead and explain it.
Glenn, as you know, there are only two types of wood, hardwood and softwood.
Ooh.
But in this segment... Okay. In this part of the...
I do not know that.
Okay.
Well... It's been a topic of discussion. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
So, anyways, back to the discussion here. Hardwood means something is outstanding or excellent.
Super terrific.
Softwood means it's not.
Yeah. So.
I'm a little confused. Do you mean in real life or just for the game? Because
that's exactly it. And you know what, Glenn? I'm glad you asked that because we had people emailing us and we had people messaging and twittering us and saying I don't understand. So let me just explain that. As you guys know, one of my favorite woods is SPF. And I know, Mr. Clutterbuck, you don't necessarily know your woods as much as you do your waters, but I will tell you that SPF, all three are softwoods, okay? And I absolutely love softwoods. So in no way are we saying softwood is a negative. We're not saying it's a negative. We're saying in this kind of game, there's kind of an A and B, a 1 and 2, a black and white kind of situation.
Before we jump in, though, I want to clarify. You said that Glenn knows his waters.
He knows
You
his
said that
waters. That's
plural.
exactly it.
There's
yeah.
only one type. There's water.
There's actually, we're actually going to talk about waters in a later episode, but there's actually 7 types of waters.
No.
There's exactly 7 types of water, Gary, and you should probably learn them.
And this is coming kind of from an expert in his field, really. And that's something that I really appreciate about Glenn and his entire family, and the entire Clutterbuck family. Is something I personally really appreciate about the entire family is that they're wonderful people. But Glenn really knows his waters. So.
Well, I could list all of them right now.
Well, no, I think we'll wait
I can
because
too.
it's. Oh, sorry, Gary. What was that? What was that, Gary?
I can list the water, too.
Agua.
H2O.
Oh yeah, listen to that, Mr. Clutterbuck,
Yeah.
eh?
Yeah, that's, well, you know what, Gary? Spring water.
Sir Glenn. Let's just break to a quick commercial, and we are super excited. When we come back, we're going to get to our first segment of hardwood, softwood.
Silver birch. Enjoy its beauty with your eyes when you look at it.
Oh, what a wonderful sponsor. That's one of Gary's favorite products, and he's been talking about that product for years and years and years and years and years. And we're really excited to have them on board, so to speak. So we're just actually gonna chat a little bit here. We're talking about going into a speed round. And basically, Glenn, I'm gonna catch you up here because I know you haven't done this yet. Me and Gary have done this. I mean, we've been doing this by the fireside for decades. Literally by the fireside, and literally for decades, that we'll kind of list topics or list items, list celebrities, anything is anything is game, and we're going to list things, and it's a speed round. So he's going to list an item, and then I'm going to say hardwood or softwood, and then you can say hardwood or softwood, and that's kind of our opinion on the item. Is what we're saying is hardwood is good, softwood is negative in this case, in this example.
Yeah, okay, great. Sounds like fun, guys.
Okay, let's do it. So, Mr. Gary Gilbert, hardwood, softwood.
Are you ready to spew?
Nice one, Gary.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Gilbert. Thank you, Mr. Gilbert.
You ready, Larry?
Let's do this. And Mr. Clutterbuck, he's ready as well.
Okay.
I'm ready too, Gary.
Yep. Okay. Jelly.
Oh, hardwood.
Oh, hardwood, yeah.
Eyes.
Hardwood. Very nice.
Oh, sorry, did you said hardwood there?
Yeah, I said hardwood. That's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with hardwood.
Sofa.
Softwood.
Softwood.
I know it's a speed round, but I like a hard, firm bench.
Okay. Snail.
Oh, softwood. I don't like snails at
Softwood.
all.
Yeah,
Okay.
softwood. I'm
But
saying
Mr.
softwood.
Clutterbuck, I thought you eat a lot of escargot. I thought that was kind of a family thing. Let's go with softwood. Let's go with softwood. That's fine. It's a speed round. I understand.
Frame.
Yeah.
Oh, hardwood. Very much hardwood. Frames.
Hardwood.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, frame. Yeah, hardwood.
Beeswax.
Oh, I don't. Beeswax. That's on every. Beeswax is a softwood for me, and frankly, that's a Hop Conte item for me because everybody's obsessing with beeswax these days. And I'll tell you this, and I hope Glenn, I hope you agree with me. I'm kind of a paraffin wax guy. I see beeswax on every counter, on every shelf. Everybody's going bonkers for beeswax, and I'm sitting back here saying paraffin wax has done me good for centuries, and I'm fine with it right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm kind of getting fine.
Yeah, okay.
I was gonna say
So,
hardwood, but
Larry,
I think
what I want you to
convinced
do
me to say
is-
softwood.
Softwood. Yeah, that's Glenn's on my team for that one.
So, Larry, I just want you to, you don't even have to say the full hardwood. You could say hard or soft. I just want you to go as fast as you can. Ready?
Okay.
Line.
Hard.
Boat.
Soft.
Paul.
Soft.
Trot.
Hard.
Horses.
Soft.
Hard.
Horses. Soft.
Soft.
Oh,
Soft.
Cap.
hardwood. Did you say taps?
Hardwood.
Cap.
Oh, cap, like a ball cap. Oh,
No.
that's hardwood. I like
No,
ball
like a
caps.
bottle cap.
I like ball caps too. I think I like any caps. Anything that caps something off, I think is a good thing.
Cap gun.
I love caps.
Cap
Caps
guns are softwood because I like a 338.
He's just agreeing with you on everything.
He's not agreeing. He has his own opinions, Mr. Gilbert.
My own opinion, Gary.
Okay, well, I think that ends our first speed round. What a wonderful round. Woo! That's exciting.
Okay, my turn.
You know, maybe I can go.
Okay.
now.
Actually, no, we're just, sorry, Glenn. This is, we're just going to let you, again, you're going to follow up after Gary. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to list a few items. And and what's going to happen is we're going to have you follow up after Gary says his. We're going to have you say yours because Gary's kind of one of the co-hosts here, and as we always say, you're a wonderful special guest, and we're happy to have you as a special guest here. So
Well, I'm a wood enthusiast.
okay, well, yeah, that's right.
Me too.
Well, yes, we are. We're all wood enthusiasts, and we're part of the community.
Yeah.
Let's hold on here. So this is Larry Woodstone's round of hardwood. Okay, here we go, boys. Now, I've actually picked a topic here, so I'm going to go with the topic tapes. Tapes, okay? Strapping tape,
Hard.
Soft.
rubber tape,
Soft.
Hard.
Idiot.
scotch tape,
Scotch. Hard.
Hard. Sorry, Gary. What did you say there?
Hardwood.
Oh, softwood.
Oh
Softwood.
my gosh.
cassette tape,
Hardwood.
Soft.
VHS
Softwood.
tape, VHS tape,
Hardwood.
Softwood. Definitely softwood.
Barbie dolls,
Oh, plastics. Super soft. Softwood.
Hardwood.
heavy-duty double-sided sticky tape,
Soft.
Definite hardwood. Wow, so hard.
fingernail polish,
Oh, softwood.
Hardwood.
marbled cheese,
Hardwood.
Don't even know what that is, but softwood.
masking tape.
Oh, that's hard. That's real hard.
I'm gonna have to go with soft. Softwood.
This, sorry a minute here, Glenn. Are you hearing all the things I'm saying, Glenn? Are you
Yeah,
able to hear all this? Glenn, are you able to hear all this? Glenn, is this all coming through clear?
I can hear you, and I'm just giving my very personal opinion.
It's
on
very.
all these.
It seems to be very opposite of Gary here. Our very last one here.
Oh, is it? I didn't even. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, no, just giving my honest opinion.
Okay.
Just giving honest opinion.
So
Yep.
I'm just gonna end on a big bang here. So our my very last one for our speed round would be polar ice caps.
Oh, hardwood. Hardwood.
Massive softwood.
And this is
massive
but
softwood.
hold on a minute, boys. Hold on a minute, gentlemen. This is our segue into the second part of our podcast, I think, because I'm physically looking at Gary. He's furious. I can tell you that by his face is boiling hot red, and that's this is not good. He's got kind of a high blood pressure thing happening here. So, and I'm actually getting a text right now from Glenn, who's on phone, saying, well, those are words I'm not going to use, but oh my goodness, Mr. Clutterbuck. So let's go to a commercial break. We're going to come back and we're going to have these guys.
I meant every word of it, Larry. Every word.
Well, I can certainly say I hope not. So let's go to a commercial break and we'll come right back here. Sorry, Gary. We'll come right back.
Walnut. Now there's a fine wood. Not a beautiful tree, but a beautiful product.
Welcome back to the episode. Boy, oh boy.
Seriously, they couldn't be giving
I've
us
just
that
got to
much.
hold on a minute, Mr. Gary, Mr. Gilbert. During our commercial break, things got a little bit fired up here. We got a little bit heated, and I just want to shoot right to Glenn here. I want to shoot right with the puck right in the net. Glenn, what did you say? You said something about a movie. Just tell me what you said.
Well, you're talking about the polar ice caps, which I think are, probably the most useless potential, though, a resource that we have on this planet. And
Oh, my
I was
goodness.
watching an Inconvenient Truth, and I know that movie kind of swept the nation and the
Oh.
world a few years back, and it kind of caused people to action, and it certainly caused me to action, because what I learned in that movie is that we emit a lot of CO2 into the atmosphere, and that's causing the globe to warm.
Sorry,
And
Mr.
as the
Clutterbuck.
globe
Sorry, Mr.
warms,
Clutterbuck. Sorry, Mr. Clutterbuck. Sorry, Mr. Clutterbuck. Sorry, Mr. Clutterbuck. Let me ask you a question here. I want to kind of cut to the quick here, and I don't want to be rude. And it's hard not to. I don't want to be rude here, but it's hard not to. Let me see if I can break this down for our audience. We have tens of thousands of listeners here, and I'm sure some of them are kind of quirking their eyebrows here, saying, "Wait a minute, what's he getting at? Wait a minute, what's he getting at?" So hold the boat, stop, wait a minute, shut down, give me a second, give me a break. Let's put on the brakes. Let's cut the cables. Let's give it a break. Let's give it a moment. Just stop, just for 1 second break. Okay, just stop. Let me ask you a question. Just stop. Stop for a second. What you're saying? Are you telling me, and Gary, tell me if you're hearing this differently. Are you telling me, Mr. Clutterbuck, that you're in support of melting the ice caps?
Yep, that's what he said.
Oh, Larry, definitely. I mean, how could you not be?
Oh my goodness, hold the boat.
I mean, Mr. Al Gore made it quite apparent. All we have to do to get more water melting so that we can water the trees is put more CO2 in the atmosphere.
Hold it,
so
Mr. Glenn, sorry, Glenn. This is kind of flooring me. This is kind of it's a little bit ridiculous. Gary.
Well, I don't understand. What did you get out of that movie? I think it was pretty
Well,
clear,
I don't
right?
think they...
Have you seen Waterworld?
Have you seen Waterworld?
Has Gary seen it?
No, but have you?
Well, this is...
Yes, I have. So...
Wow. So it seems to me like you think that they actually wanted the polar ice caps to melt. I believe that the movie was suggesting that what we're doing with our litter, what we're doing with our pollution is causing them to melt, but that's a negative.
Right.
And it sounds like you're saying that you think it's a positive.
It seems like a massive positive to me, Larry. I mean, that because we emit more CO2, that warms up the atmosphere.
Yeah, but think of all the swamps. Think of all the swamps. Think of all the swamps. Think of all the swamps and bogs.
Think about the CO2 that now the trees can breathe in, and then think about how it warms up the ice caps and it releases more water. I mean, it's a win-win. So every time
But
I
have you seen Waterworld?
Have you seen it?
No, but
Well, then yes, of course I've seen it.
I saw the video cover of it, and the whole world is filled with water.
And that's
there
a
were
true
no
story.
Trees.
That was
is
a true
true.
story.
And there are no trees because the water is covering it. So you're actually harming and doing opposite of what you are claiming that would help.
And I think in Waterworld, that's with Kevin Costner. And I think it says it's based on a true story. I think Mr. Al Gore had something to do with that movie, to be honest. I mean, I'm going to have to do some...
What I can tell you is Kevin Costner is a hack, okay?
Oh my goodness.
He's like my neighbor George.
Wow.
They're the same.
Let me say one word. Actually, I'm going to say two words. One, Field of Dreams. Sorry. And two, I'm going to say Robin Hood. So, I think with that we can move right on into the next.
Well, that's actually the problem I have with him is his role in Robin Hood, because throughout that whole movie he's near trees all day and all he can worry about is stealing money and he just waters one tree.
Well, Mr. Clutterbucks, we've been talking about this, and I want to tread real lightly here. And I know I've got Gary by my side. He's kind of tapping. He's kind of giving me the elbows, kind of poking at me. He's kind of hitting me a little bit. But I want to tread really thinly here, because.
What about the show House of Cards even?
House of Cards with Kevin Spacey. You obviously like Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
I thought that
Hardwood.
was Kevin
Yeah,
Costner.
Gary.
Kevin
Just 'cause
Spacey,
they're the
Hardwood.
same first name doesn't mean they're the
Kevin
same person.
No, sorry,
Softwood.
Glenn. He's just doing Hardwood Softwood.
No,
That's fine.
Softwood.
We're gonna move right back here.
Sorry.
Here's what I'm wondering. This is what we're struggling with, and I've had a few, Glenn. I've had a few messages. People, I don't think they necessarily agree with the need to water a fully adult tree. So.
Oh, I think that. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of activity on Twitter. People are getting out there and clutterbucking.
Yeah. There's some prank. Some people are doing some. We had a wonderful gentleman, Gary. I know you. Gary was in stitches. He was in stitches. He was laughing so hard at this because it was nonsense.
Wow.
It was
They're
true.
making fun of him.
Well, no, I think they're playing along with him. Is what I think they're doing. But he.
No, because
Well,
he thinks.
are you talking about the gentleman who was kindly calling his neighbors and informing them about how he has actually been watering their trees?
Oh my goodness, Mr. Glenn Clutterbuck, those were social internet prank calls. And Gary was actually laughing so hard he smoked his head off the table, and he actually got stitches, and he was in stitches when I went to visit him in the hospital.
Oh, guys, you you totally misunderstood. No, they weren't pranks. That was real. That was 100% real.
Oh my
no,
goodness.
that guy,
He's not with it.
Yeah, he's
you
not.
guys. Oh, that's so funny that you thought it was a joke. No. These people,
Sorry, Glenn. Just give me one moment here, Gary. I don't think he's right up to par. I don't think he's.
No.
He's about a few French fries short of a Happy Meal here.
He's
it sounds
an
like.
idiot.
Well, I don't think he's an idiot, but
He can't hear us, right?
No, he's on mute. I muted him. I just put.
Hey, Gary, I can hear you. Okay. And I might have to take back that green screen.
Okay.
Check out my friend Larry Woodstone and his friends, the Wood Enthusiasts.
So welcome back. Sorry we had to kind of slip into commercial break there. There's just some technical issues. We're having some sound issues. Surprise, surprise! It never ends. And we have. I just wanted to step in here. Sorry, Glenn. We're going to get you in a second here.
Glenn. Hey, did you want to do your hardwood softwood stuff?
Oh, that's nice of you, Gary.
Oh,
Yeah, we
Gary, really? You want me to?
Well, yeah,
You want me to do
we
my
kind
one?
of just bypassed it. Sorry, I wanted to bring it back to you there.
Green screens,
That's
hardwood. That's yeah, hardwood. So yeah, Glenn, if you wanted to go ahead. So who would you
I
like?
worked really hard at.
Who would you like to
I worked
answer
really hard
first?
preparing this list.
Who would you like to answer first when it comes to the hardwood, softwood answers responses?
You know what? I'd like Gary to answer first.
Oh, that's.
Well,
I don't appreciate that.
yeah, no, I'll let Larry answer first. Just 'cause
I've known
I'm
Gary.
a gen-
I've known Gary for years and years and years and years, and he's always the one to say, you know what, just let me stand in the background.
Yep.
And he's, he's so chock full of wisdom that he.
I like to take my time to think a little bit. Larry's a lot quicker.
All right. Have it your way. So I got my list here, and I think it's really gonna surprise you. Actually,
Let's start off with your list of softwood. It's just a little joke.
Oh, good one. It's the 7 types of water. So I want to list them.
Oh wow.
And see what you guys think about them.
Oh, this is. Even your list.
okay.
Even your list is controversial.
Hey, well,
Let's go ahead. I'm
every-
excited about this. Let's do this.
yeah, every tree has their own needs. Every tree needs different kinds of water, right? So I mean, it's
Yes.
pretty
Yeah. Well.
pertinent.
Yeah. Well. I think
wood
we can get.
enthusiasts.
Yeah. We can get into that at some point. We can talk
Yeah,
about that.
but okay. Let me get
Gary
started
doesn't.
here.
Gary doesn't have to be there for that part. Gary doesn't have to be around more.
Well, I'd like to hear Gary's answers to these ones. Though.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do this. Yeah. Let's do the speed round.
I'd like to know what he thinks, because yeah. Okay.
Hey,
Here we go. Ready?
Mr. Clutterbuck, I'm wondering if we should do hard water, soft water, because we're talking about waters.
No,
Oh.
But it.
no,
I mean,
it's wood
like-
enthusiast.
Yeah, Gary's absolutely right as
Sorry, Glenn.
always. It is wood enthusiast,
Wood
not hydro enthusiast. So we'll go back to the actual speed round. A hardwood,
All right.
softwood with
That
Miss.
might be a good segment too, sometime. But
Hey,
yeah,
Glenn,
sure,
how's
okay,
your
let's
dad?
get started here.
So okay, let's go ahead. Mr. Glenn Clutterbuck with hardwood, softwood.
Spring water,
Hardwood.
Wood enthusiast.
purified water,
Softwood.
Wood enthusiast.
mineral water,
Oh, hardwood, very much so. I enjoy my mineral waters.
Wood enthusiasts.
Okay. Wow.
okay, artisan water,
Oh, softwood, very very much softwood. Artisan is in a craft, kind of a craft type water.
Yeah, this water, it's gone through a few hands.
Yeah,
and
softwood.
It's been
Softwood. Softwood.
Gary, what do you think about artisan water? I'd really like to know your opinion.
Wood enthusiast.
Oh.
I don't think that's an opinion, but tap water.
Oh, hard water, very much so. I like to wake up in the morning and snog a little on the tap and just kind of full crank it and throw it down the old hatch every morning is what I like to do. Hey, Mr. Clutterbuck, are we talking about fluoride free or are we talking about fluoride tap water? Sorry, you weren't very clear,
Well,
Mr. Clutterbuck.
Well, it definitely depends on your geographical location, which can greatly affect. And I'm glad you brought that up because it can greatly.
Okay,
affect,
sorry, Glenn. Let's just go ahead. I'm gonna say hardwood.
What do you think I'm gonna say, Larry?
Wood enthusiast.
That's right.
Okay, wood enthusiast. That's another.
I still don't think that's.
Yeah, that's another-
Still don't think that's an answer. But how about this? Well water.
Oh, very much hard water. That's a wonderful. That's a very natural resource. And here at Wood Enthusiast, I'm going to speak on behalf of Gary here. He's nodding his head and he's also shaking at the same time because he's not quite understanding why we're talking about waters on a Wood Enthusiast show. But what I will say, Glenn, and I'm going to have your back here because well water and spring water and water in general is a natural resource, and it's one that we need to cherish and appreciate and just really embrace. At a capacity that's reasonable. I think that's kind of what I want to outline here as a capacity that's reasonable. I think that's important, but I'm very supportive of water and different types of waters.
Well, I could answer that one.
And that.
Oh, hold on a minute here. Gary's got a limited response, but he's got a response here.
What is the well made of?
Oh, it's a wooden well. Is it a wooden well, Mr. Clutterbuck? Or is it a cement well, or?
This is a steel well.
Wood enthusiast.
So that's softwood.
Well, I'm just going to move on to our last type of water here, and it is sparkling water.
Oh, softwood. That feels like a man-made kind of treat.
How's your dad?
It feels like a
You want
man-made.
to talk?
Oh,
You want to talk to my dad?
is he around, or is he? You know what? I'll just text him. I've been texting him a little bit. He's a really wonderful guy, but we've been texting a little bit back and forth. So I'll just get to him later. Gary,
Okay.
let's just go on with the show. We're actually going to catch a commercial break because we're going to catch a commercial break. We'll be right back after this. And we got a little segment here we want to talk about right when we come back. Okay.
I enjoy talking to his father.
Yeah, we'll talk to his dad. We'll talk to his dad when we get off the horn here. Okay, we'll be right back, Mr. Clutterbucks.
Got wood? Check out Larry, Gary, and Glenn, and the rest of the wood enthusiast community.
Welcome back to the welcome back to the final segment of our Wood Enthusiast podcast. We're really excited because we have a few things that we want to talk about. We had a wonderful segment there with all three of us. We were just kind of spitballing some hardwood softwood. And what did you guys think? Was that fun or what?
I had fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, Gary. It's great to sit beside Gary. Gary's a very strong man. He's full of wisdom, and he's just sitting right beside me. And he thinks, Glenn, you can't see this because they're on the horn, but he likes to think through kind of every response and every answer, and he puts a lot of thought into kind of what he thinks about. So, but Mr. Clutterbuck and the entire Clutterbuck.
It seems like he didn't put too much thought. All his answers were exactly the same. But I'm just glad. Honestly, though, I think he's willing to be on the phone.
Well, you know
with
what?
me, and I think that we're friends.
So. Gary always says he likes to have a high moral fiber. So he kind of sticks to his guns. He sticks to his. It's like a piece of gum in a bubble wrapper. It's like when he
starts the day with porridge.
Yeah, he starts the day with porridge, and he puts his bubble gum in the wrapper, and it sticks. You know how it kind of sticks to the inside, and that kind of feeling. That's kind of what Mr. Gilbert's like. But I did want to say we are on the precipice, and you boys both know this. We are on the precipice of releasing our webisodes. Today's date, I'm not sure what the date is. Well, it's Friday. It's Friday, so today's date is, I think it's like
not the 13th.
It's not the 13th, but September is coming up in about a week. September 2018, depends on when you're listening to this podcast. And we're going to be releasing some incredible webisodes. And these, both Gary, who's been so supportive and so gracious with his locations and sets, and Mr. Clutterbuck has contributed some wonderful material. Most recently, he actually contributed moisture measure. Didn't you, Mr. Clutterbuck?
Yeah, that was just amazing to be able to get that information out. Hopefully that can change the way that people view the tree, the needs of the tree, what that specific tree is looking for, and in future moisture measures, we hope to go into the types of water that each tree might need. And you're talking about
Sorry, Glenn. We had actually a question from one of our listeners, and I think what you were just saying might be a response to them. But Jason Marshall, he sent us in a question, and he was wondering. He said it seemed like those numbers just kind of came out of nowhere. You said six. We had a little clip on the internet. We put a little clip on YouTube so people can see the moisture measure process before we release the webisode. And Jason Marshall said, he said, hey Larry, where did he get those numbers from? They seem kind of random. And Gary, obviously I ran straight to Gary and said, Gary, obviously you're going to have the answers here. And Gary didn't have the answers, which kind of spooked me. It spooked me a little bit. Gave me a little bit of a spook. So I thought maybe you could answer that, where those numbers came from.
It's all hogwash.
Some people are saying it's hogwash.
I really respect Gary and his wisdom and his knowledge. As you say often, Larry, he's a wealth of information in terms of wood, but I think that maybe he's a little bit of a novice when it comes to understanding when something is nice and moist. And something I've been studying for years, and to the point where I can really just touch the soil and know the moisture content. So it's obviously to confirm that with a soil suckle. It's
kind of less of a training. You're not necessarily training people in that video. You're kind of showing some of your skill. It's less of a training.
Well, it's kind of like you need to see it to learn it, and kind of get the basics of it first, and then hopefully as you do it maybe 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 times, you can start to really understand what it is.
That's right.
So I want to get back to our webisodes are extremely informative.
Yeah, yes, very, very good point. Thank you. And wonderful segue, Mr. Gilbert. Thank you. Wonderful segue. We are releasing some webisodes coming up. And what's very exciting about these is our set designs. Obviously, it's been asked of us to make sure that we throw this out there, and we want to. Believe me, Glenn, we want to. We want to thank the Clutterbuck Industries and the Home Building Association for providing us with some of the green screens that we've been using, and some of the sets, and some of the lighting, and some of the cameras, and some of the food, and some of the people, and some of the staff, and some of the people that are kind of helping us out on stage. Some of the cameras, some of the, all that stuff, and all the cables. It's been amazing.
Stephanie has
Stephanie, oh my goodness, Glenn, have you seen some of Stephanie's work on the set designs?
Well, yeah. I mean, she's doing a great job, and I'm just really glad that you guys. It's really cool that you kind of invited me before I was able to contribute.
Oh, of course.
That just means that we're true friends, right?
Oh, of course, Glenn. I mean, you've been I've always.
Larry invited you.
Yeah,
sure.
yes, I absolutely did. And like I always said, you've been wanting to be a member of this community, for years and 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 years. And it's only recently that we said, you know what? Heck yes. You know what? Let's do this.
Yeah. Well, when something clicks, when something clicks, right?
That's right. When something clicks,
I also want to give a shout out.
Something about clicking.
He's talking.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also want to give a shout out to Paul. Like, he's been doing great with the sound and.
Well. He hasn't been doing that good with sound, actually. That's
know what? I want to say something about Paul, all right? Everything I get from Paul is trash and garbage and junk. That guy is the absolute worst. He's bringing us down.
That's what I would say. I'd say preach it.
Stop! Okay, that's it.
He's like a...
No, stop. Let's just end it with him.
He's like a desert.
No,
Let's end it with Glenn.
No, you know what?
No, let's end it with Glenn.
Glenn's saying something I think is...
Paul is doing excellent.
No trees, no water. He's like an empty water bottle.
I think Glenn's...
This guy is vomit.
I think he's making a really good point.
Junk.
I think he's really making a really good point because I've struggled with Paul because he's been pulling pranks and he's been doing a lot of nonsense on me, and I don't like the way Paul's misbehaving sometimes.
We all have our own proclivities, as you say, and Paul has his.
Paul's proclivity is pranks, and that hurts people's feelings. Not mine because
it's nonsense.
Not mine because I'm not that type of person, but I know it hurts a lot of people's feelings, and I think that's ridiculous.
Well,
I think this is ridiculous.
I mean, you and I, we understand each other.
We've been friends for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, and I appreciate that.
Glenn doesn't know him well, and I think we should move on.
Yeah, you know what?
I
agree. Let's just stop. Let's put on the brakes.
Yeah.
Let's put on hold. Let's take the keys out. Let's take our foot off the gas. Let's kind of put it in neutral. Let's take a rest. Let's open the doors. Let's get out. Let's get some fresh air, and let's just slow down. Let's just slow down. Because I think sometimes we get so excited and so kind of heated and we're so passionate. I've got guys here on either side of me. I've got Glenn in one speaker right beside me, and I've got Gary to my left, absolutely chock full of wisdom and experience. And Glenn is, full of passion and full of kind of learningness and learninghoodness and full of passion. And I think that's important.
Learninghoodness. It's true.
And I think I just want to slow us down, and I want to say, thank you to all of us for being who we are and being wood enthusiast leaders in our communities, because we're changing things. And Gary, I know you know that. Gary's welling up here because he thinks about, little Tommy and little Sally and little Sue and little Brian and little Stuart and little Sam and little Jessica and little Lisa and little Francis and little Fran, and all these little kids.
Kumar.
And little Kumar and little Mohinder, and little Abdu and all these people that we're changing people's lives. And I think that's so significant.
Yeah, I mean, and Gary, you'd be really, really excited about it. Like, a lot more kids in my neighborhood are getting excited about trees and specifically watering trees. And so,
yeah, but you look in their windows at night.
Actually, that's an interesting thing Gary just said. But I did want to ask you, Glenn, how's Jorge doing? How's Jorge? I know he was struggling.
George?
Well, yeah.
You mean George?
Well, I think culturally he would like his name to be pronounced Jorge. He is, of Spanish descent.
No, he's George, and I don't like him. And you know what? He served me some papers actually, so I have to go to court, but it hasn't stopped me.
Right, I noticed. I saw in the newspaper that you had some trespassing papers. Trespassing.
Yeah, but I mean, how can you? Trees. You know what? Water has no borders, and
Glenn, I'm certainly no lawyer. I'm more of a wood enthusiast, but that sounds like an illegal crime. That sounds like an illegal crime to be trespassing.
Yeah, but if you're trespassing to save a life, I mean, you think there'd be a little more sympathy.
I think that's...
So,
we're stretching.
So George, I think, is a little bit... Yeah, George is a little bit out to lunch. He's got an environmental lawyer, but he doesn't understand, that... there's nothing you can do to stop me. I'm going to rent... Story
Glenn. Gary was just kind of looking at me, giving me the hairy eyeball. Sometimes you say things that don't make a lot of sense, and he kind of gives me the hairy eyeball. So, just clarify this for me. You're saying that Jorge can't really necessarily, even with all the all the lawyers, he's not going to stop you. You're saying you're not going to stop.
Oh, he can't stop me, and I hope he listens to this. Hey, George, listen, you can't stop me, man. There's nothing you can do. I've already started to get my pilot's license. I'm almost done, and I'm going to rent a water plane and fly over your house and drop water on your trees.
Oh my goodness, that sounds like a public declaration. Oh my, this sounds like a public declaration.
Where does he get all the money?
Yeah.
Well, his family's got a lot of money. His family's got a lot.
That's true.
That his family's got. It sounds like that sounds like something maybe your family's supporting, financially supporting, and kind of morally supporting.
Yeah, well, and morally maybe they have some questions, but they still haven't cut off my.
You really go to
long.
long lengths to get your water.
He certainly does. Oh my goodness, he certainly
We'll
does.
make sure the trees get their water,
That's for sure. That's for sure, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
For sure. Yeah. When something's so important, you can't just stop at the first hurdle.
No.
Right. You got to keep going. So.
That was the.
I feel like I'm kind of like Martin Luther King.
Oh my goodness, that's a bit of a stretch. Oh, sorry, Glenn. We're not gonna. That's a bit of a stretch. That's civil rights. Kind of one of those hot button topics you don't even step on, and that's kind of a name you don't kind of throw around in the wind to see if it sticks. We're not gonna use that name on our show because we hold it to such high esteem. Mr. Martin Luther King is probably one of the most wonderful men in history, and I think you're kind of
definitely wonderful.
kind of besmearing it, besmudging it, besmearing it for your hydrational cause.
I'm sorry, did you say Martin Luther King or Martin Luther?
Oh my goodness, we're getting
Martin Luther King Jr.
That's getting theological here. We don't want to get theological here, guys. So I think we're just really going to end this podcast because we've had kind of a bumpy road here, gentlemen, and this is kind of the first time I brought you guys back into the same set, and I think our next one we're really going to have to kind of barrel down and kind of figure this out because I'm kind of standing in the middle here, and I've got a wonderful guy that with deep pockets named Glenn, and I've got a guy here who's deep with wisdom, and I kind of want to bring them together to continue this wood enthusiast community. And right now we've got kind of a jumble jamble, kind of a rumble.
Well, I just think Gary, if he would open his eyes a little bit.
Well, he doesn't care for you. He doesn't really care. He doesn't really care for you. But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, yeah, but all across the world, people are very serious about their water. Like it's not, we're very serious about here. Look, just look at our country, Canada. Like we have water treatment plants. We do water testing.
Of course.
Make sure. Like it's very important. And in other parts of the world, they're very particular about their water. Very particular. I know, I saw these documentaries, and I know that in Africa, for instance, they are so particular about their water. The children even are so particular about their water. They'll travel by foot 10 kilometers just to get a certain specific kind of water.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Mr. Clutterbuck.
Very picky.
Glenn! That's quite enough! I don't like to get too hoppacante on these podcasts, but this is quite enough of this.
So once again, for our listeners, I do want to clarify that we here at the Wood Enthusiast community do see a very vast difference between African children and pro-hydration.
My goodness.
I apologize on behalf of this team.
This is. Sorry, guys. Let's just cut. We're not gonna. This is. Mr. Clutterbuck, this is ridiculous. We're not live right now, but this is ridiculous. You know how much I appreciate you, but this is ridiculous. We're not going to start bringing in this.
Larry, it hurts me to have you upset. I'm just.
This is inappropriate. Mr. Clutterbuck, this is inappropriate.
I think we should just wrap.
Yeah, we're going to wrap this up, Glenn. And Glenn, I want to be completely honest with you. Next week when we kind of write out, I might be writing you out of the next podcast because you did this last time you were on set, and I think it's inappropriate. And you know that, Mr. Clutterbuck. You know that's inappropriate.
I'm really confused, actually, guys. I was giving a really cool.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Okay, thank you guys so much. Sorry, Glenn. Let's get to our sponsor. I don't have any sponsors left. I've had to use them to cut him off every single time. Mr. Clutterbucks doesn't know when to give it a break. Let's go back on live. Let's go back on air, guys. Let's go back on air. Thank you so much again for joining us. We had a wonderful speed round of hardwood softwood, and we are just really gonna take this and run home with it. And we hope you guys will join us next week for the next Wood Enthusiasts.